Deep in the shadows, I know it's hard to put one foot in front of the other.
Hi guys, CeeChronicles here, back again with another fragrance rating video. If you're joining us here for the very first time, I post fragrance related content and would very much appreciate it if you did consider subscribing and joining the family. Now, to those who are coming back, thank you so much for the continued support. Today we're focusing on the Armafs in my collection. I'm going to rate them obviously 10 out of 10 being the creme de la creme, going to the least favorite in terms of numbers. So we're going to go from 10 out of 10 to the least. 10, 9, 8 going downwards. Now straight into the first one. Scoring a 10 out of 10 for me, guys, is Club de Nuit Iconic. This is a fragrance, guys, marketed, or at least the DNA is associated with masculine fragrances, but I totally dig this. This to me is simply put, a C came late to the party type of situation. I love the uniqueness of this fragrance. You are going to get that aromatic, fresh tone to it, and you will think, oh, I think I've sussed it. But trust me, there's a lot of pages that this fragrance has to offer. Drawing its inspiration, guys, from Bleu de Chanel, this fragrance, enough said. This is definitely a 10 out of 10 for me. The next one that scored a 10 out of 10 is Magnificent Perfume, a berry blast. If you love sweet fragrances, if you love your fragrances fruity, this is gonna give it to you. It gives me adult fruity, but it's right there in the middle where it's not vintny, where it's not dated, and it's not juvenile. It is just a safe fragrance, especially for gifting. If you know a classy woman, somebody who loves to smell good, you can purchase this fragrance for them, guys. It focuses mostly on the raspberry thickened there, and that raspberry mixing with blackberry gives the rose in this fragrance kind of like a jammy feel. So I love this fruity berry blast, guys. It's called Magnificent Perfume, and it gets a 10 out of 10. On the 9 out of 10 position is going to be Club de Nuit Intense Men. Now, I'm going to give it a quick spray and tell you my thoughts. I did decide to put this one on 9 out of 10 legit because I love this fragrance. This is a fresh, fruity, woody, aromatic scent with a leathery tone to it. This fragrance, guys, did put Armaf on the pedestal for being a Creed Aventus inspiration and actually nailing what it was going for. The only cons to this fragrance, guys, is that it is a bit rough around the edges there, presenting the pineapple as a bit synthetic, as a bit screechy for some. But if you don't mind that, then it is a fragrance that you're gonna absolutely love. So this Club de Nuit Intense Men is a 9 out of 10 for me. Scoring 9 out of 10, guys, is gonna be Club de Nuit Intense Woman. So the fact that I saved this one for cold nights and the winter season is the only reason I thought I must put it on 9 out of 10. If you love a fragrance that is chocolatey, it's going to give you a serving of a lot of things with a velvety undertone there, even crossing over to a little bit gothic there, then this is the ideal fragrance for you. This to me scores a 9 out of 10. The next one that takes a 9 out of 10, and purely because I've got this DNA in my collection in other versions. You guys have been telling me, go and buy Club de Nuit Imperial before you start saying this one is the best Delina exclusive alternative. And guys, you were right. One thing that I can say about this fragrance without sounding like a broken record, because I think everything has been said about this fragrance, is the fact that it has a crazy lasting power. So a little goes a long way. So if you want something that's going to be at par with the Delina exclusive, even surpassing the performance of that fragrance, then Imperial is your go-to fragrance, and it gets a 9 out of 10. Scoring an 8 out of 10, guys, is going to be Untold. Another one that you kept on saying, oh, you need to purchase this one, oh, you need to purchase this one. And why I was not purchasing it, I kept on saying to myself, it's just another variation of the BR 540. Why should I purchase it? Now, anyway, I got it and it scored an 8 out of 10 because It is, of course, another variation of BR540A DNA that has been played around within a lot of fragrance houses. This one, however, to me leans towards the extrait than it does the original. Why I say it's the extrait, this has a bit of an intensity there, an amplified candy note there. I tend to turn anosmic to the original formulation, whereas with this one, because it has that candied note, you know, amplified, that kind of like a caramelized sugar thing, amplified, and less of the latexiness there, I tend to smell this one longer. This simply scores an 8 out of 10 by default because it is a DNA that I have tons of within my collection. Scoring 7 out of 10 is going to be Italiano Donna, guys. This is a fragrance that sat on my 10 out of 10 for the longest time until, of course, I started adding, you know, some Armafs to my collection and it got dethroned. This, guys, has a DNA that draws its inspiration from D&G Perfume Intense, and it is at par with that DNA. So if you happen to find this, because unfortunately some people say it has been discontinued, if you happen to find it, grab it, guys. And it is one fragrance that gets better and better with time. If you go to my videos, you will know that I reviewed this one over a year ago. So it just got the 7 out of 10 because, of course, Armaf is on the roll and they keep giving us more and more. This one is called Italiano Donna. 7 out of 10 position, guys. I decided to drop this one, which is Milestone, again from the Club de Nuit range. This one draws its inspiration from Creed Millésime Imperial. This is going to be a fragrance that will be favored by those who like fragrances with a marine tone to it. Something in here is going to interpret as a very salty, and in as much as it is a fragrance that is summer leaning in terms of profile, it does have that stubbornness to the DNA, which is soft to an extent but lingering. Some people will actually find this one a bit heady. Another 7 out of 10 is Le Parfait pour Homme. This is a fragrance I do not see a lot of people talking about. It is a fragrance built around black currant. It has a leafy tone to it. It has spices there as well, leaning masculine. But why I gave it a 7 out of 10 is it feels like a fusion of that Creed Aventus DNA together with the Green Irish Treat. So it kind of bounces between the two fragrances. This is Le Parfait pour Homme, and it gets a 7 out of 10 from me. Scoring a 6 out of 10, guys, is going to be Magnificent pour Homme, and this one is obviously targeted for the males out there, but because I am here with it, I totally love the DNA of this fragrance. These bottles are confusing. They look like they're cans, but they're not. They're actually bottles, but they look like they're spray cans if you haven't interacted with this particular range. Okay, this one is the gift that keeps on giving. It gets a 6 out of 10 just because it is a fragrance that may need some testing for some, but for some it's just going to outright come across as awesome. Okay, there is a foresty tone to this fragrance, a green note there, a green accord that's going to take you into like a mindset of a forest, like a damp forest there. That is what you're going to get. But the pages of this fragrance don't stop there, so it is a lot of mystery going on in there. And just when you think you've pinned it, just when you think, oh, I've figured this fragrance out, it then opens new pages. In the dry down there, you're going to get something that feels like a coffee, something that feels like a chocolate. Those are not listed as notes. And the vanilla is going to be vanilla ring as well, and all those working together with that aromatic green accord. Not enough to disturb the aromatic green accord, but the green accord as well, not bullying everything else. So this is just, guys, a fragrance that needs a testing. If you're looking at gifting somebody something that's a bit complex, this is one that I'm going to have to say you can go for. This is Magnificent pour Homme, and it's a 6 out of 10. Scoring a 5 out of 10, guys, is going to be Club de Nuit Women. Unfortunately, because of DNA fatigue, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this one, but it is going to come across to your nose, especially if you have a huge collection, as okay, you know, that sort of thing. So this simply gets a 5 out of 10 because of that. It is just a summer forward, easy reach, easy to wear, overspray if you want type of fragrance, but for some it might not come across as spectacular. And it's the same way I feel about it myself, and that is why I put it at a 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10 is Sillage from the Club the Nuit range. This I gave a 5 out of 10, guys, because in as much as I get a complexity in this fragrance, a metallic tone to this fragrance, like a mineral tone to this fragrance, something that is reminiscent of water, it is a fragrance that if I gave a very high rating out there and you're basing your purchases on this video, it might maybe turn up and underwhelm you. It has piercing citruses in the mix there, but a very odd feel of what's going to remind you of cold water. Drawing its inspiration, guys, from Creed Silver Mountain Water is this one. The lasting power, though, is remarkable for what it is, but I just thought to highlight those few points there that, you know, it might come across as what's going on there, and that piercing metallic tone to it for some might come across as inky or weird. So this gets a 5 out of 10, guys, simply because it is a DNA that is going to be a hit or miss for some people. Scoring 4 out of 10 is Le Parfait, and I love this packaging. I know this might look as, you know, a tacky packaging to some people. Comes across to me as very youthful there, just the packaging in itself. But why I scored a 4 out of 10 for this fragrance, which is a pretty low rating, is because simply put, it just feels like a combination of a lot of white florals. Say you received a bouquet of white florals comprising of jasmine, lily of the valley, neroli, that sort of thing, and you put your nose, you know, to those florals, and then imagine that with like a zesty tone to it there coming from the orange. That is what you get from this fragrance. There's also some tuberose in this, if I'm not mistaken. So it is the lack of complexity in this fragrance that just scored it a 4 out of 10. It's also because it's a fragrance that, say for instance, I ran out, I wouldn't really run to repurchase because it's special, but not one of those that I could not ever do without. So Le Parfait Perfume scores a 4 out of 10. Now, when it comes to the Armafs, guys, I'm going to cap it at this one being the last and scoring 4 out of 10 as well. I do not have a vast Armaf collection, so I didn't feel the need to just slag other fragrances, like to put them on 1 out of 10, you know, just for the fun of it. This one is Oddsy Arm. The reason why I chose to give this one a 4 out of 10 as well, and making it the last one to rate in this collection, is because in as much as I love this and it says pour arm and it's wearable to me as a woman, it just has like a soapy jasmine that's a bit upbeat there doing the most, and it is that soapy jasmine mixing with like a violet, like a powdery violet, that can be a little bit too much, like too much of a good thing in the sun. So this just scores the 4 out of 10 because of that, guys, not because it is an awful fragrance. I know a lot of people do absolutely love this, but it is one that I find myself, you know, putting at the back of my shelf for the longest time and not reaching out you know, to wear this because it kind of chokes me out there, especially in the heat. That is the reason why I scored it a 4 out of 10. So that's a wrap, guys, when it comes to my Armaf collection rating. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Is there a fragrance that you feel I rated unfairly? I'm very open, guys, to that in the comment section. CeeChronicles is my name. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please do turn on post notifications. That way you get to be notified anytime I upload a video. Like and share this one. And remember that smelling good is a form of good manners. Cheers.